Imagine the taste of fresh, homegrown spices adding a burst of flavor to your meals. Yes, you heard it right. The power to cultivate your own spice garden is within your grasp. Growing your own spices not only adds an extra zing to your dishes, but also proves to be pocket-friendly. Plus, there's an undeniable satisfaction in seeing your green endeavors bloom into a colorful spice palette. So, are you ready to spice up your life? Welcome to our ultimate guide to growing your own spices. Starting your spice garden is easier than you might think. Yes, you heard that right. With a little bit of preparation and know-how, you can transform your garden, patio, or even windowsill into a personal spice haven. To begin, let's talk about containers. The beauty of growing spices is that they can thrive in a variety of vessels. From traditional garden pots to creative containers like mason jars or old tea tins, the choice is yours. Just make sure whatever you choose has adequate drainage to prevent waterlogging. Now, let's move on to soil. Quality soil is the bedrock of any successful spice garden. Opt for a good quality potting mix that's rich in organic matter. It should be well-draining yet able to retain moisture, just what your spice plants need to flourish. Next up is sunlight. Most spices originate from tropical or subtropical regions, meaning they love a good dose of sunshine. Find a spot that gets at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. If you're growing indoors, a south-facing windowsill is usually a good bet. Now you might be wondering, what spices should I grow? The answer largely depends on your climate and your culinary needs. If you live in a colder region, spices like rosemary, thyme, and sage are great choices as they can tolerate lower temperatures. For those in warmer climates, why not try your hand at growing cumin, coriander, or even turmeric? Remember, your spice garden should serve your kitchen. Think about the dishes you love to cook and the flavors you can't get enough of. Love Italian cuisine? Plant some basil and oregano. Can't live without your morning chai? Try growing your own cardamom. The key is to start small and expand as your confidence grows. With time and a little patience, you'll be rewarded with a bounty of fresh, homegrown spices that will take your culinary creations to the next level. Now that you know the basics, let's dive into the exciting world of various spices you can grow. From fiery chilies to aromatic basil, the options are endless. Let's kick off our spice profiles with these two favorites. First up, chilies. These fiery delights originate from South America but have since set the culinary world ablaze. Growing chilies at home is a rewarding endeavor. You start by planting seeds indoors, 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost. Once the seedlings are sturdy, transition them outdoors, ensuring they get plenty of sunlight and are watered regularly. When the chilies are vibrant in color, they're ready to be picked. Interesting fact, did you know that the heat of a chili is measured on the Scoville scale? The Carolina Reaper currently holds the record as the hottest chili in the world. Next, let's talk about basil. This aromatic herb is a staple in Italian cuisine and it's incredibly easy to grow at home. Start basil from seeds, sowing directly into the soil after the threat of frost has passed. Basil loves sun and requires well-drained soil. When harvesting, always pick from the top to encourage bushier growth. Here's a fun tidbit. Basil is known as the royal herb due to its use in royal courts and medicines in ancient times. Remember, gardening is a labor of love, and that's especially true when it comes to growing your own spices. It requires patience, care, and a bit of green thumb magic. But the payoff is immense. Imagine the satisfaction of cooking with chilies and basil that you've nurtured from seed to harvest. Not only will they add a burst of flavor to your dishes, but they'll also infuse them with a touch of homegrown love. With these spices, your kitchen will never be the same again, but wait, there's more. So stay tuned as we delve deeper into the fascinating world of homegrown spices in the next segment. Ready for more spice adventures? Let's continue our journey. Our next stop is coriander, a spice that wears many hats. Known as cilantro when it's in its leafy form, this plant transforms into a spice when its seeds are dried. The flavor profile is complex, with a citrusy edge that adds a fresh, zesty note to dishes. When growing coriander, remember to be patient. It's a slow grower, but the wait is worth it. Plant the seeds in well-drained soil and provide them with plenty of sunlight. Before you know it, you'll have your own supply of coriander. Next up, we have mint. This is a spice that's as versatile as it is aromatic. Its refreshing flavor makes it a popular addition to both savory dishes and sweet desserts. Plus, a sprig of mint can turn a simple glass of water into a refreshing treat. Mint is a hardy plant, often growing like a weed if left unchecked. To grow mint, choose a spot with partial shade and moist soil. Do consider containing it in a pot though, as it can quickly take over a garden bed. Now let's talk about cardamom. This spice is a bit of an exotic choice, but it's well worth considering for its unique flavor. It's sweet yet spicy, with a hint of citrus and a warm, woody aroma. Growing cardamom can be a bit of a challenge as it's a tropical plant that thrives in warm, humid conditions. But with a bit of care and attention, it can be a rewarding addition to your spice garden. Last but not least, we have fennel. This spice offers a sweet, licorice-like flavor that's a great addition to a variety of dishes. The fennel plant is easy to grow, needing only full sun and well-drained soil. Its feathery leaves and yellow flowers make it an attractive addition to any garden. These wonderful spices will surely bring a new dimension to your cooking, but we're not done yet. Growing spices can have its challenges, but don't worry, we've got you covered. First up, one of the most common challenges: pests. Aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites are a few unwelcome guests that can wreak havoc on your spice garden. But never fear. A simple solution is to use a mild organic insecticidal soap. Spray it on your plants, making sure to cover all surfaces, and this should send those pesky pests packing. Next, we've got diseases. Fungi and bacteria can cause issues like root rot, powdery mildew, and leaf spots. To prevent these, ensure proper air circulation around your plants and avoid overwatering. If a plant does get infected, remove the affected parts, and consider using an organic fungicide. Speaking of watering, it's a delicate balance. Both overwatering and underwatering can cause problems. Overwatering can lead to root rot, while underwatering can stress the plant and stunt its growth. So how much water is just right? Well, that depends on the spice. For most, the soil should be kept moist but not soggy. If the top inch of soil is dry, it's time to water. Now let's talk about sunlight. Most spices love the sun, but too much can cause leaf scorch, while too little can lead to weak, leggy growth. A general rule is to provide about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. If you notice your plants are getting too much or too little light, adjust their location as needed. Lastly, nutrient deficiencies can also pose a challenge. If your plants are looking a little pale or their growth is slow, they may be lacking essential nutrients. Using a balanced, organic fertilizer can help provide your spices with the nutrients they need to thrive. With these solutions, you'll be well equipped to handle any challenges that come your way. Now comes the best part: harvesting and using your spices. The moment of harvest is the culmination of all your hard work, patience, and care. Each spice has its own optimal harvest time, usually when the flavors are at their peak. For instance, basil and oregano should be harvested just before they flower. Their leaves contain the highest concentration of essential oils at this stage, which translates into more flavor for your dishes. For spices like coriander and dill, you'll want to wait until their seeds are fully formed and have turned brown. That's when they're ready to be plucked, dried, and used in your culinary creations. Harvesting is as simple as snipping off the leaves or seeds with a clean, sharp tool. Remember, gentle is the way to go here. You don't want to harm the plant or stunt its growth. Now, onto the exciting part: using your freshly harvested spices. Fresh spices can liven up any dish, adding a depth of flavor that's hard to match. Toss some fresh basil into your pasta sauce, sprinkle some rosemary on your roasted potatoes, or add a pinch of homegrown coriander seeds to your curry. The possibilities are endless, and the results, delicious. Don't be afraid to experiment with different combinations. That's the beauty of growing your own spices. You can tailor your garden to your palate. And there you have it, a world of flavor, right at your fingertips.